Hi, my name's Paul Kinvig, Chief Operating Officer of the Bournemouth Town Centre BID, and I'm going to be talking to Mei Pan here at Yobu Bubble Tea about how she came to set up the business, some of the challenges, some of the successes that she's had, but also some of the key lessons she's learned that may be useful for us as we operate in business today. So, Mei, talk to me a little bit about how you came to set up Yobu Tea and your story, really, about the business.
I grew up in Taiwan, where bubble tea was invented. And I finished my education there, spent the first 15 years of my career in a completely different industry, in the pharmaceutical industry,
Right.
actually, doing various commercial roles. And I'm always intrigued by doing different things at different stages in my life. So I decided that when I turned 40, I want to change my career track and do something completely different.
So it was a conscious decision to move away from the pharmaceutical industry to doing this. It was just because you wanted to do something different.
It was actually, I spent 5 years thinking about it and spent a good 6 months doing thorough and serious research about what I wanted to do in the next stage of my life, and then came to the decision that I wanted to start my own business in the catering business.
So for those people that don't know, what's bubble tea?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. It's probably the first question that most of our customers ask when they come into the store. It's a flavored tea drink. So it was invented back in Taiwan about 30-something years ago, where people used to drink a lot of tea, but they stopped doing so because the younger generations stopped thinking that drinking tea is cool. So some business owners started to think, how do we modernize the concept of a very old product, tea, which people have been drinking for thousands of years. The original story goes that because they shake bubble tea with ice and different flavors, and when you shake it in a cocktail shaker vigorously and pour it out into a cup, it forms a thin layer of foam on top. And that's how bubble tea got its name originally. But over the years, when bubble tea got fast expanded into rest of the world, people have come up with different interpretations about what bubbles mean in the bubble tea. So some people think it's the popping juice balls in a fruit tea. Some people think it's the pearls, the black pearls, tapioca balls. So whatever it works for people, it's fine with us. Yeah.
So it's still a bit of a jump to go from running a massive division in terms of a pharmaceutical industry to coming to Bournemouth and opening up a bubble tea shop. And I get the bit about it being decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. What was it that made you pick Bournemouth?
Bournemouth is the best choice in this neighborhood. Basically, Bournemouth is a very international city. It's a very international town with a lot of tourists, with a lot of students coming from all parts of the world. And with a very big, I would say, like a lot of people are more open-minded and more willing to try new things.
Try something new, effectively.
Exactly. So I think Bournemouth makes a perfect destination for the first Yobu.
So you do all the planning, you find the product you're going to sell and go with it. What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced in terms of setting Yobu up and opening up?
Right, I would say that, obviously having to learn how to operate and run the business from scratch. That's because I obviously had no idea about how to operate in this environment. So there has been quite a lot of learning, trial and errors, day in and day out. The biggest challenge, I would say, is how to make sure that we always stay relevant and we always stand out in the customer's mind, because it's a very, very competitive industry and it's just getting more and more competitive. So how do we make sure that our customers, who are in general like young people who like to try new things but they change their mind very quickly, how do we keep them interested and keep them involved and happy about Yobu?
So you take this issue of being innovative all the time and also ally that to the really important bit of cost control and making sure that you're always keeping control of those. Moving through onto some of the successes, after 3 years, what have been some of the really most satisfying successes or the biggest successes that you think you've had whilst running Yobu?
I think it's all down to customer satisfaction. To me, that's above and beyond everything that I feel proud of. TripAdvisor. So TripAdvisor is where people go and look for information when they visit a new place. They look for places to eat, places to visit. And also last summer in July last year, we were awarded by TripAdvisor a certificate of excellence. So that's just a very good testimony of how good our customer service is. And that's what I'm most proud of.
Challenges I get, successes I know it's great, and you get really animated when you talk about it, because I know it's important to you. What's one thing you do differently over the 3 years that Yobu's been open? You think, I would do that differently. That's something that I would change. What would it be?
Be in a slightly smaller shop where it's easier to operate and probably most cost efficient.
So moving through then, 3 things.
Right.
3 things that you've learned, or 3 things that you would encourage or say to other people going into business or who are running businesses. 3 things that you would say, right, those are the top 3 things I've learned. What would it be?
First of all, always make your customers happy.
Okay.
Always. Make your customers happy, and then hire the right people to work at your business. Train them well and make sure they serve your customers.
So you've got making sure the customers are happy, exceeding their expectations. Yeah. But it's interesting you talk about hiring the right people, because they're the bridge, aren't they, as well?
Exactly.
To customers. So
because if your staff are not happy, the customers won't be happy.
So that's 2, and something else?
Well, at the end of the day, be very, very mindful about numbers.
Okay, your costs.
Your financials.
Financials as well. So wider than just costs as well.
It's the overall numbers.
Yeah.
How your sales are growing, how your costs are being controlled, and how your cash flows are doing.
Yeah. Because that's an entirely different topic, isn't it?
That's very, very important.
Mei, thanks for talking. It's been great to hear about that.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Lessons to learn, really, about being innovative all the time, about having a handle on the numbers, about satisfying and exceeding your customers' expectations, and about getting the right people. And, of course, about getting a product that maybe gives you a different niche or an edge in the marketplace, and making sure that you're actually doing the research so that your market is there. Mei, thanks ever so much. It's been great.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Paul. Thank you.